Imagine being in high school with all kinds of bullying, kids doing drugs, getting pregnant, and committing all sorts of crimes. This is exactly how teenage kids feel with their lives in this day and time. Imagine being the nerd or wimp. Your only hope is to fit in with all the cool kids, so what are you going to do? Go along with what these other kids are doing, or stick up for what you know is right? Many teens fall under peer pressure and develop things that they think can only be termed as bad habits in our society. There are many things teens feel like the need to do just because everyone else is doing it, or just because their friends look like they're having fun. Personally, I'm a teenager myself, and at my high school, a majority of the kids do drugs, smoke, drink, have sex, and break all the rules. Being a teenager in this day and time is very hard. Doing these things with other kids, however, doesn't make you cool. It just shows that you can't stand up for what you believe in. Peer pressure is something every teen goes through during some point in time. Peer pressure doesn't only hurt the teen themselves, it also hurts the parents and people that care about them the most. Peer pressure is social pressure by members of one's peer group to take certain action, adopt certain values, or otherwise conform in order to be accepted. Everyone during a period of their life experiences peer pressure. Peer pressure can be either positive or negative, although it also is known as mostly negative. Friends, family, and people all around can influence teenagers in a negative or positive way. Even celebrities can influence teenagers to do certain things. Where do you think we get our fashion, or how we want to do our hair? Peers can influence their friends to do absolutely anything. This is why the majority of teenagers base their decisions on friends' actions and opinions. The more the time teenagers spend with their peers, the more they trust them. If a teenager trusts a friend, they are most likely follow that friend's examples. The majority of teenagers are insecure. Because of this, they follow their peers and perform actions they aren't comfortable with. For example, a teenager is part of a group of friends that smoke cigarettes, and one of the members of the group offers them a cigarette and tells them how cigarettes are no big deal. The teenager will feel extremely pressured and smoke and will most likely take the cigarette. While smoking is a common example of peer pressure, there are many other things that can be classified as peer pressure. Statistics prove that 30% of teenagers have shoplifted at least once due to peer pressure. Over half of teenagers will experiment with alcohol. About 40% of teenagers have tried drugs. Many teenagers want to feel accepted by their peers, so they do certain things to try to fit in with everyone else. Teenagers think that by following what their friends do, like smoking or drinking alcohol, they will seem cool, or fear that they'll look clueless or completely out of it if they don't. Although many teenagers do base their decisions on peers, the teenagers, what they need to do is build self-confidence to say no and walk away. Teenagers can reject negative offers by finding another friend who will say no with them. By having someone beside them, the teenager feels like they aren't the only one doing or not doing something. Staying away from people who do drugs, cut class, smoke, or drink is helpful because there will not be any pressure to deal with. Making excuses like, I can't hang out tonight, I have to study, or sorry I'm busy, can be of assistance when trying to avoid groups of teenagers who smoke, drink, or do drugs. Talking to people in a close age can help teenagers relate to each other. Many teenagers share the same problems and issues. Although many people think otherwise, peer pressure can affect a teenager by more than just influencing them. Peer pressure can cause depression, and doing drugs, drinking alcohol, and smoking can lead to lifelong problems. Teenagers can begin to feel lonely, helpless, and even more hopeless when they realize their efforts to gain acceptance aren't working. Teens that feel rejected feel powerless and unimportant. These feelings can trigger depression. Depression can be expressed in anger, agitation, and sometimes suicide. Getting involved with smoking, drinking, and doing drugs can lead to negative issues. Smoking is an addictive habit and can lead to health problems. Drugs, also being addicting, destroy brain cells. Along with the drugs and smoking, drinking alcohol is very addictive. Negative peer pressure is one straight-out consequence. As a minor, smoking, drinking, and doing drugs, cutting class, and having sex are all felonies. The teenager performing these acts can be in serious trouble or have to live with something haunting them for the rest of their lives. Living as a teen under peer pressure is a very troubling and hurtful thing. Negative peer pressure can cause some serious and permanent things. While being a teen in high school may seem pretty hard now, all the pain and struggle will definitely be worth the time. The negative effects of peer pressure can really impact a person's life for the worst. Most teenagers should have this perspective in their decision making. Teen peer pressure is one of the most common problems with a high school and teenager's life. Overcoming this peer pressure, however, will make a teenager feel good about themselves later on down the road. While giving into this peer pressure will make them teen feel embarrassed, guilty, or regretful.